So, tell me about yourself.
Well, I'm Tatiana Ionita. I graduated from Council Rock High School North. I was really motivated in my English class, my honors Social class, my trig and algebra classes. The thing I loved most about English was how it let me creatively express my imagination through short stories that I made up. Another thing about high school was that I was involved in the swim team where I learned how to adapt myself into a culture that at first I felt really awkward and uncomfortable with in the beginning. But through social gatherings and team meetings and meets and motivating my members to push on through races, I was able to really involve myself within the swim team. Also, I was part of a volunteer group that taught kids how to play soccer between the ages of 7 and 9. I tried to be a leader to the children. I tried to intrinsically motivate them and tell them how to enjoy the game and not play for their parents or anyone else, but to play for themselves and enjoy themselves out on the field. And I think I really did well. I was also an employee at Five Below for 2 years. I had a force of labor type job where I did the simplest of things. I stocked shelves. The only reason I loved my job is because my boss, she was a leader. She motivated me to come to work. She did a few different things. She extrinsically motivated me by buying me coffee in the morning if it was too early or buying me dinner. But I think the most important thing about her was she taught me to love my job and how to enjoy it and just be intrinsically motivated and enjoy working and spending time. It wasn't even about work there. It was just me becoming part of a group and working with them. I had to leave Five Below after 2 years because as a corporate company, I was limited to going through the ranks because of age restrictions. So I moved on to become a waitress / hostess at a diner. My experience there was actually really terrible due to my manager. He was a micromanager. He wanted to be part of every little step in my job. He embarrassed employees by punishing them publicly, something that through HRM leadership I learned that it's really not good to embarrass other employees publicly throughout because it creates a unity of hate towards the manager, which he did all the time. The only thing I enjoyed about my job was making money there. That was my extrinsic motivator. I dreaded going to work, unfortunately. But through the last few years before college and during college, through my employment and volunteering, I learned about cultures and how a sole proprietorship type of workplace is versus a corporate company, and how to involve myself and come out on top in all of those type of situations.
What is your biggest accomplishment in life?
Most people my age would say their biggest accomplishment is graduating high school, getting into college, or something along those lines. Unconventionally to say, my biggest accomplishment is one of my biggest failures in life. When I was a child, I used to do competitive figure skating, and my goal was to be an Olympic skater. And I was really into it. I was homeschooled. I had personal trainers. I had different coaches for every aspect of skating, and I would always focus on my strengths opposed to my weaknesses, which was really unstrategic as a business move. And when the time came down to it, one of my biggest weaknesses in figure skating was my moves. And I had a test one time, and I failed. And I always had this aspect that I was the best at that sport. And it kind of came crashing down on me that this one failure I wasn't the best anymore, so I quit. And from that experience, I learned that I really can't just focus on my strengths. I need to focus on my weaknesses foremost and most importantly. And also, never give up on something that when I mess up, you have to go back and fix what you messed up on, and you have to focus on your weaknesses, not just your strengths. And how my biggest accomplishment factors into that is I've learned from that mistake and I have never repeated it again, which is one of the biggest life lessons in my life as well.
Tell me about what you've learned this semester.
One of the biggest things I've learned this semester is how companies work, what kind of strategies they form, how they turn their company around, how they're goal-oriented, how a company to really work, it has to have a vision, values, a set mission statement. It has to know where it's going. It has to have set goals, sub-goals, and just be directed to always move forward. The biggest thing that this class taught me was during my corporate analysis when I studied Procter & Gamble. Throughout the last few years, they've been really struggling, and in recent years, the new CEO, Bob McDonald, he's created a strategic plan to move the company forward, and he's got new goals to advertise in a way to convince more people to consume their product. Another thing that he did that the Wall Street Journal covered was his retrenchment plan, where he laid off thousands of workers, but it was all in general to help the company save money because they're already in debt. And Wall Street Journal has covered how through their retrenchment and their forward strategic plan, they're moving forward and their stocks are going up and they're actually succeeding through McDonald's leadership skills. Another thing the Wall Street Journal covered that helps me understand companies more is how Ford is putting in new Google Maps to promote better locations for the driver, like better GPS, better Bluetooth, help drivers from texting. They'd rather be more connected to their car with internet, and how these new achievements in company really set it important how they have to be the first company to put it out there, how there's competition, and how workers have to really get together, get to know each other, and be creative and be the first ones to achieve their goal and jump on an opportunity when they see one.